Hello, what's going on guys? Obsolete Zeo here with another Call of Duty Modern Warfare alpha video with gunfight in the background. These are some pretty stout gameplays. We're not going to talk about that today, so it's kind of just going to be running in the background, but these are actually some of my better gameplays. So there's some added benefit there, I guess, of a really clean first game, and the second game also is some pretty tight play by yours truly. But that's actually not the main focus of this video. I want to talk about esports and Call of Duty esports specifically. I initially wanted to talk about Modern Warfare in general with the beta coming up and things happening in the near future. There was a large Game Informer interview, and that is actually going to be a topic for another day. I want to talk about Optic Gaming, 100 Thieves, FaZe Clan. Lots of big names, potentially and certainly in some cases, not going to be in the Modern Warfare Call of Duty World League esports in 2019-2020. This is really saddening, and I'm very disappointed with how the direction it is going in. I see this as a missed opportunity. We have the biggest teams in esports history in some cases, lots of brands getting started in the Call of Duty space and moving out to other games, now being successful in those games as well, leaving the Call of Duty scene. True OGs like Optic Gaming, no pun intended, backing out, and they have their own issues I might talk about in the rest of this video, but 100 Thieves, big announcement coming from Nadeshot the other day, where he talked about just flat out, they can't do it. And if 100 Thieves can't do it with all the VC backing that they have, the success that they've had in the past year, even though they are a startup and new team on the market, they have done a very great job in branding and advertising, as well as creating some sick merchandise and apparel that is unrivaled, I think, in the esports industry right now, and is something to really commend. They've done a great job with that, and Nadeshot took an idea and basically turned it into a great enterprise that is successful. It's been successful in Call of Duty. They had some success when they started in League of Legends, and supposedly they're moving into other games as well, potentially CSGO. So to see them back out and the way that they are is very statement-like. This sets a tone, I think, for the Call of Duty World League potentially in the next year, because you have a game of a beloved franchise, Modern Warfare, essentially getting remade from the ground up with a new engine, totally new storyline, and a huge focus on the multiplayer with potentially tons of modes, also potentially a battle royale, and a really good emphasis on the gunplay, and with some skill cap there, and the full customization of the gunsmith, which I think is going to be a main focal point of this game. And one of their defining features is the gunsmith. And this poses a lot of creativity and a lot of options for pro play, which historically speaking has been somewhat limited, I'd say, for better or worse, to a few guns out of certain archetypes. And it's one of those things where I want to see the best players play, and I want to see the best teams, the best brands that we know of compete at the highest level in Call of Duty like we've never seen before. Call of Duty years ago at MLGs was a mainstay, and it rivaled Halo, rivaled StarCraft 2, and the hype was insane. And essentially, I think ever since League of Legends, it's gradually gone down over the years in terms of the hype and the praise, the prestige of Call of Duty esports. It's just one of those things that has kind of degraded over time, and no fault of the players, but as the games have become a little bit more monotonous, a little bit more stale, and the esports, I think, has been a byproduct of that, where you see less compelling games, and it's not as enjoyable to watch. This past year with Black Ops 4, arguably the coolest thing to come out was Blackout, and it would have been phenomenal to see the Call of Duty esports dive into that a little bit more. We see players like Teep and Merc and some of these other guys that are actually retired out of the main stage Call of Duty esports go into Blackout heavily and really make a name for themselves. And you see these guys thrive, and there's been tournaments, which is really cool, but they've been kind of like small events, you know, like the Twitch Presents, the Twitch events, things like that. They're not huge $1 million mainstay tournaments like Fortnite, for instance, which is just insane what they've done with their esports brand in growing that. And the money that is being flowed through there is insane. It's absurd. And you haven't seen that with Call of Duty, even though Blackout has been widely regarded as an awesome mode by a lot of people. Arguably pretty dead on PC, not gonna lie, but in console it's done really well. I don't want to focus too much on that, but I do want to note that despite Blackout taking a lot of the focus and multiplayer lacking and a lot of issues, you know, we've seen it with Treyarch, the microtransactions, there's so many different loot boxy things here. The esports was actually pretty compelling this year. You saw 100 Thieves enter the market for the first time and make a huge impact. Back-to-back championships. You saw Optic Gaming winning the first event at Vegas. I mean, what better way to start the season? And then a really compelling finish towards the end with E United eventually taking it after winning the previous championship, the CWL championship in Miami. Pretty insane stuff where you have some classic teams, some new fresh blood into the scene, really phenomenal players and high-level talent being on display, and that might be thrown out the window in Modern Warfare. With perhaps one of the biggest Call of Duty launches of all time, this is a sort of reboot to the series. There's some groundworks being set where this is a Modern Warfare game, right? And we have come to know with Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, even Modern Warfare 3, a set of expectations. And this is no different. You have a brand new engine which looks phenomenal. It plays really smooth, even on an original PS4, 500 gigabyte hard drive, normal PS4, no Pro, no nothing. This alpha played phenomenally, and historically speaking, you see Call of Duties that come out and they're riddled with bugs, and the beta is horrible. The experience is very sluggish, and it takes some jitters and working out by the development team to even get it to a certain state. We saw that with Black Ops 4. With Black Ops 4, there was a lot of issues, even post-launch, and still to this day, there's things that haven't been addressed. It's difficult in crunch time for developers when they're on a short timetable, when you release a game year after year to make a finished product that stands out. But it seems like Infinity Ward has a renewed passion for this franchise and a really cool focus for this game. It looks insane. I'm really, really excited to play this Call of Duty, breathe some fresh air into the scene, and to have the esports side of things potentially be downtrodden with measly teams we don't know about, be Overwatch based with region locking teams. I don't know. Like, that's not what I want from the esports side of things for this title. Like, you have a really great opportunity here to come to the forefront in mainstream esports, really push things with a AAA title that everybody knows. You know, your mom, your dad, your cousin is going to know what Call of Duty is. And some of these people, they know also what Fortnite is. They may not know what League of Legends is, some of these other titles, and historically speaking, there's a market there where even though this is a hardcore game like Call of Duty, you have a market and a demographic there that you could tap into. And to go to an Overwatch-like model where you have region-based teams, 25 million supposedly as the startup cost, as well as different maintenance and fees and costs associated with that, with incredibly high player salaries, in my opinion, for a good reason. But to have all of these upfront costs and without knowing truly what's there as a benefit for getting into the system, you see all these teams leaving, and we're left with a lot of questions. What is the outlook of Call of Duty esports going to be in 2020? I would like to know. I would like you guys to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day. Take care. Peace.